Okay. Hi BookTube, Aaron here. Hope you're doing very well. A little while ago, I made a video called My Last Book Haul Ever, at least for a while. And I think it must have been a while because I've got a sneaky little book haul here um, with at least a couple of unnecessary books. But some of it is stuff that I would well, all of it is stuff I'd really like to get to. But I think some of it, I've noticed that something I've been doing recently is thinking about what writers I really enjoy or projects that I really want to work on. And then I'm sort of stocking up in advance. So even if I don't get to these books immediately, then at least I've got them ready for when I go through that. And the first couple of books fall into that category. There are two books by Thomas Mann. So I've got Dr. Faustus, The Life of the German composer Adrian uh, Leverkühn, as told by a friend. This is a translation by John E. Woods. I really liked his translation of The Magic Mountain, so I try my best to sort of seek out um, his his translations. And from what I can tell, it's a retelling of the Faust myth, but with instead of an academic, it's a composer. And yeah, I've just heard interesting things about it, and I'm intrigued to see because I really love Marlowe's play Dr. Faustus, and so I'm just intrigued to see what Mann does with this material. And then the other Thomas Mann I got, I think probably apart from Death in Venice and The Magic Mountain, this would be his next most famous work, I'd imagine. And maybe in Germany, this is still his most famous work, which is Buddenbrooks, which is a big, long, realistic family saga. So very much in the sort of territory of naturalism and realism. So it's sort of, I suppose, less modernist than the later stuff. And I'm just trying to see. Yeah, this is also the John E. Woods translation. So it was something that I was looking out for as I was searching for more Thomas Mann. Then we've got a couple of poetry collections I picked up. I'm trying to just make sure I have a few collections, a few relatively recent collections to get to. In a library tour, when I was going through my poetry shelves, I paused and talked about Alice Oswald for a little while. And she's got a collection called Memorial, which is, she describes it as an excavation of the Iliad. And essentially just a lot of the Homeric similes from the Iliad. She's pulled them out, and that's the sort of material, I suppose, for that long poem, and it's really effective. I really quite like it. And she's done a similar thing to the Odyssey. So this is called Nobody. I'm not sure exactly. Um, so this is described as a collage of water stories taken mostly from the Odyssey. So I'm intrigued to see what she does with it and um, how it stands up in comparison to Memorial. And then this is a poet that her name sort of I don't know, it sort of jogged in my memory. I can't remember from where, but it's Zoe Scolding, A Marginal Sea. And I just thought I'd take a chance on this one. So a poet I'm not particularly familiar with, and I'm just gonna see what I think of it. And I had a quick look through, and it does seem pretty good. And I know that she lives in Bangor up in North Wales, which is where my parents used to work. So I've spent a lot of time there, and if it deals with that landscape, then I'll have a lot to sort of connect to, I suppose. Then next up, a really Big one, we've got The World, A Family History by Simon Sebag Montefiore, which is, I think, looking at dynasties from across world history. And I'm thinking that potentially next year, I'm not sure when, if I want to try and um, align this to Historathon, then I might make it a year-long project and read the first parts of the book that align to the first quarter of Historathon. So it's a year-long reading event where in the first 3 months of the year, it's prehistory up until I think 500 AD, and then you've got the Middle Ages, 500 to 1500, and it sort of goes on like that through the year and up until you reach present day. So I quite like to, suppose, follow that along with this book and see how it goes, just as yeah, an experiment. So we'll see. Then the next one, or the next few, are 4 books from the My Struggle series by Karl Ove Knausgaard. I've got the first 2, and I've read the first book, and I just thought I'll just get the rest of them because I've started now, and I would like to finish it. So I thought I'd just make sure I've got the whole thing, and then I'll just, you know, I was going to say get it out of the way. I do quite like his writing style, and so yeah, we'll see what I think after a further 5 books. And they don't all match. So the last one here is the sort of style, the edition that I have the first 2 books in. So these, I think, newer ones. This is the end, the last one. And then the books in the middle, I just bought them online, and the covers that they had weren't necessarily corresponding to what they were sending out, and I just think they're comically pretentious. So we've got the third book, Boyhood Island. I think this is the one I think is the funniest. Then there's Dancing in the Dark, and then we've got Some Rain Must Fall. So I've got all of the My Struggle series now, so we'll see how that reading goes along. I'll be sure to keep you filled in. And then the last one, and this is the one that's, well, you could think of it as superfluous, but it kind of felt necessary. And it's a Penguin Deluxe edition of the collected fictions of Jorge Luis Borges, who is one of my favourite writers. And these are stories that I will be coming back to time after time. I already have this book. I've got it just behind me up on the top shelf. I think recently in a library tour, when I reached it, I was umming and ahhing about getting this edition, because this is the one that everybody shows, and it always looks really lovely, and in person it still looks really lovely. It's got the deckled edges and the French flaps, and I just, after a while, I just thought, no, I'm going to get it because it is one of my favourite books, and I don't mind having a double. And so I've got my other one with the Hieronymus Bosch painting on the front, and then I've got this one as well, and maybe then it'll warrant another reread of Borges. It's maybe only been like a year or so since the last time I went through his fictions, but yeah, I feel like going back to him again and maybe making him one of those writers that I just read through his fiction every year. Maybe that's something I'll start doing. And that's it. That's the book haul. And so I'll try to make some kind of stack, some kind of Steve pyramid. And so we've got the collected fictions of Borges, and then let's do some rejiggling. Then we've got some Karl Ove Knausgaard. So we've got The End. We've got Some Rain Must Fall. We've got Dancing in the Dark. We've got Boyhood Island. And this is where it could all go wrong. We've got The World, A Family History. these two won't make much of a difference. We've got A Marginal Sea by Zoe Scalding. We've got Nobody by Alice Oswald, one of my favourite living poets. We've got Buddenbrooks by Thomas Mann. And then finally we have got Dr. Faustus by Thomas Mann as well. So there we go, that is my sneaky little book haul, and this again will probably be the last one, at least for a while. Yeah, it's all stuff that hopefully within the next year and a half will have been made use of, and I'll have been reading and making my way through, so it doesn't feel totally unnecessary to me. But yeah, let me know what you think, if you've had any good or bad experiences with any of these books. But for now, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.